Hey everybody, welcome to a video demonstration of how SCORM works in a learning management system. What I'm going to show you first is the end result that a student will experience as a user of a learning management system and going through the course. So you'll see the small little learning module that we're going to create as the end user experiences it. I'm then going to take you into the same learning management system as an administrator, and we'll see the reports that are generated from the learning management system based on the couple of interactive activities that we have. Then we'll go back to the beginning and I'll show you how we quickly put the course together. It's a very quick Captivate file, but the most important thing is to show you the settings within the authoring tool that turn SCORM on, basically. So first of all, I wanted to take you to what's called Moodle Cloud. Moodle don't pay us any money to promote this. The good thing about this is that there is a free plan forever. Keep it forever. You can have up to 50 users, really good for testing, really good for learning about Moodle, and you can also invite your friends, your family, your work colleagues if you're just testing it out, but you can have up to 50 users and up to 200 megabytes of storage, which is pretty good. Once you do sign up, you end up with your own URL. So in this particular case, our URL is learningplan.moodlecloud.com, and this is Moodle, or this Moodle instance signed in as the administrator. So I've signed in as an administrator. I'm now going to show you the same learning management system signed in as a student. Now what I normally do in this situation is I'll have two completely different browsers open. So this one is Google Chrome. I've logged in to the learning management system as the admin. We need a completely different browser so the session of that website isn't carried across. So I've used Firefox to log in to exactly the same learning management system as the student. And you'll see here my name is John Student. And this is the course that we're going to be looking at. It's called LMS SCORM Sample. And when I do click on that, that's on the home page. I go straight into the course. Here are some activities within the course. I can click on the SCORM file. I can call that anything I like. I just called it SCORM file. You'll see here that I've actually had one attempt already, and that the grade for that attempt was 100%. If I just I can actually tick the box start a new attempt. I can click on enter, opens up in a new screen, and you'll see that I click the start button, and here are some questions. Short answer in your own words: how amazing is it? Really awesome, thanks for asking. Now I wanted to demonstrate this because this is a free form answer. In order for the learning management system to capture these words that I'm typing in, we do actually have to set this up as a reportable activity, and I'll show you quickly how to do that in Captivate. And these words will get captured. So we were working with a client recently where we had to put in some questions like this, and these answers were actually getting marked by human eyes. So in order to pass this particular course that the client was putting out, the students actually had to type the answers in free text, and those answers were getting checked against real teachers. So hence the reason why I wanted to share this with you. Don't worry about this incorrect. I'll show you something to change that so it doesn't give the wrong answer. But what we've done is we've set this particular answer up, not to report any points. So even though it's a reportable interaction and the interaction is being reported against the learning management system, there are no points for right or wrong. So these points won't necessarily get marked towards the overall score of the interactive activity that we've created. The next question is a simple multiple choice, and of course we can have a right or wrong answer. In this case, I'll just select that answer. It's incorrect, and then if I click anywhere to continue, you'll see here that, I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, I'll click on the, and you'll see here I scored 0, 10 points, total of 2 questions, accuracy 1, attempts 1. So what I'm going to do is I'll close this down, and you'll see here that as the end user, so I'm still logged in as the student, you'll see here that it's showing me the number of attempts that I've made and the grade that I got for the second attempt, the grade that I got for the first attempt. So let's have a look at the administrator's view of this exact same course. I'm going to switch back to the administrator view, and it looks very similar to what I was looking at as a student, but a couple of things here is that I've got these cogwheels up the top which allow me to go into change the settings. When I click on the actual course as the administrator, I've got a couple of extra options available for me, especially when I drill down to the activity level. So here's the same activity that we just looked at as the student. When I click on that activity as the administrator, you'll see here that it shows all of the activities that have been made by me as the administrator. This actually isn't the activities made by the student, because as the admin I can still go in and test it out as an admin. But more importantly, what I'm showing you here is that we can go in and drill down into reports, and you'll see here it shows me the attempts, it shows me the students that are enrolled in this particular course, and drilling down even deeper, I can go into what's called the interactions report, and you'll see here it has actually captured the responses that the student made. So a couple of really cool things here. The student didn't quite get to the end of that second attempt, and also what we can do as we drill down even further, if I go into click on attempt 1 here, and then go into interactions, for example, what it allows me to do is show a summary of the attempts and the responses that the student gave. Anyway, so I really just wanted to point this out. So all of this information is being captured as a result of the SCORM settings being turned on in the authoring tool. So let's go back and have a look and see how that's done. So I'm going to switch back to Captivate now. Other authoring tools will have the same way of turning these settings on and off, and I'm just going to point out the workings of this particular Captivate file. This is the actual Captivate file that I published and uploaded to the Moodle site and that we just had a look at. So it's exactly the same Captivate file. And just to point out a couple of things, this is just a title slide. On the second slide, here's the short answer that I was talking about. So a couple of things that I wanted to point out here is that you'll see here that when I created this question, I went into the quiz menu, I clicked on question slide, and then I selected short answer and clicked on OK. What this did is it gave me a slide with all of the text boxes and all of the objects on the slide that I can edit, and it also gave me this quiz tab inside of Captivate. You'll see here I gave 0 points. I've got correct and incorrect captions, and what I can also do as a result of this is I can also choose to report the answers, and you'll see here that under the reporting section of the quiz panel it's got an interaction ID 5940. Now I didn't touch that, I just left that. That's Captivate's random number that it puts in there. But I'll just get you to see here 5940, and if we switch back to the admin view, you'll see here that Moodle has actually picked up that ID 5940, but what it's also done is it's actually picked up the wording of the actual question. Now, I didn't do anything special inside of Captivate nor Moodle for it to do that, but the authoring tool talks to the learning management system and it does pass on certain information, and that's just something that Moodle does as a bit of a nice to have. So they do share information without us really needing to do much there. If we go back to Captivate and if we look at the next question, which is the multiple choice question here, and the multiple choice question, you'll see here we have the question, we've got the correct answer, which is selection A, and in this particular case you've seen over here we've still got the quiz panel. The way I brought this question up is I just went into the question menu, selected question slide, selected multiple choice, clicked on OK. Once again the slide came up with the various text boxes which allowed me to edit the information. But more importantly here, you'll see here that I've allowed 10 points for the correct answer. You'll see here what I've allowed is 10 points for the correct answer. Once again, Captivate has given us a unique interaction ID, which in this case is 6312. I didn't touch that. I have left that as is, and if we go back to the admin view of the learning management system and this particular file in particular, you'll see here it says 6312. So that information is actually picked up as well. What I might do just to demonstrate the end-to-end process of creating the file, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in, I'm just going to change this slightly just so you can see this work. Another, oh, let's, who does that? I do that all the time. Another quiz for testing. For testing, I can put in here. What I might actually do here is I will put in a whole brand new short answer. So I'll put in question slide. Let's do a short answer, and I'll click on OK. I might actually delete this one. We'll do a whole brand new module just so you can have a look. I'm going to delete that, and what I'll do here is I'll put in the question. So this is a slide that Captivate has given me. Tell us in your own words how wonderful it is today. What I probably want to do is I'll make this text box a little bit bigger, and that always pops up. Change the height. So it gives people enough room to enter some information. We can put something in here under correct entries. No correct entry. Oh, let's put that in there. Sometimes it's no correct entry. And going to the quiz tab now, you'll see here it's automatically given us 10 points. Let's turn this into a survey perhaps. When we turn it into a survey, you'll see here that we are still able to report the answers. So keep an eye out for 6592. Let's put in a new question slide. So once again, a multiple choice. I'll delete this one here, even though I like that question. But let's we'll just do that one again. Where Honey, actually, anyone who knows the Lego movie, Honey, where my pants. And so those of you who've seen the Lego movie, that's actually out of the Lego movie. And we can put the same under the bed, in the wash. And now we can go over to the quiz tab. We can add a couple of more answers. So I might put make that 4 answers. We can also shuffle the answers. So if we're giving people an option to go back and attempt that, they can't answer the question as a result of what am I trying to look for here? So each response will come back shuffled. It's on the tip of my tongue where you choose something because other options have been chosen already. Maybe I'm getting stage fright. Where else is it? Under the couch, or in the gym bag. So the correct answer is under the bed. Once again, the Captivate, the authoring tool, has given me an interaction ID, which is here, and here are the quiz results. So now, how do we turn the SCORM option on so all of these interactivities are captured by the learning management system? That's a really good question. Let's go in and have a look. We go through the quiz menu and then quiz preferences. And authoring tool, all authoring tools do have a very similar way of changing this data or capturing this data. By default, this button is not ticked. So straight away under the reporting section of quiz, that button is not ticked. So we need to enable reporting for this project. I know I've worked with some LMSs before. If that box is not ticked, the LMS won't accept the upload. Once we tick that, we can click on configure, and I have pre-filled the identifier and the title in. Some people don't do this, they forget about this. I do this religiously simply because not all learning management systems may capture that information, but some do. I know Canvas does with the SCORM uploader turned on, and also Moodle is actually capturing this title information. So it's really important that we fill this out. I usually make these the same, and I always make the identifier a unique identifier, which is a combination of maybe the company I'm working at. For example, I might put in Acme, which is the same as the name of the company, and I don't normally put spaces in there, so I do separate the identifier with underscores. And then the title can actually be, we might put something in here, 2019. Anyway, I'll leave that. And let's just change that to 2020, just so we can see if and how and when this information gets picked up by the learning management system. What we can also do is we can capture the success and completion criteria. Now, these are all decisions that will need to be made on a case-by-case basis. So I'll let you do your own research. It really depends. I'm not going to say there's a right way and a wrong way. So that it will definitely depend. Once again, under the settings, I can go down a rabbit hole with this, but I'm not going to right now. One other thing here, the pass or fail option. You'll see here I've set up a pass or fail option of 50%. I'm going to make that 80 because that's default. But once again, it's entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong answer with that. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is just go back and double check this. So we go back into quiz preferences, and this is with Captivate, of course, but depending on the authoring tool that you do select, or the authoring tool that you are using, you're looking for the SCORM settings. And in this particular case, I've just used SCORM 1.2. I don't think I've ever changed that in the last 15 years. So that's really what you need to do. And look, I haven't really done anything out of the ordinary to make this happen is just tick a couple of boxes, fill in a couple of fields, and set some settings based on my particular example. Now, of course, the last thing we need to do to get it up onto the learning management system is to publish. So I'm going to publish here. We do need to publish it as a zip file. So the authoring tool gives us the option to tick zip, and it's scalable HTML content. I'm not going to choose SWF here. I'm going to choose HTML5 only. And the scalable, I'll show you what impact that has if the viewing area is made smaller or bigger. This is not the same as responsive. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole either. What I'll do here is I'll just change this file name. I'll just call this one 2020. This doesn't really have that much of an impact on anything visible to the end user. We're going to publish this. So it's publishing as a zip file, and now I am going to go back to the learning management system. I'm going to go back to Moodle, and I'm going to upload this particular course, or sorry, I'll be mindful of my terminology here. I'm going to load up that activity into the course. So what I'll do here is I might just edit this course and just call this, I'll just take the 2019 out. I'll leave all of that as is. That's fine. We don't need to worry about any of that. I'm now going to add another activity. So what I do from within Moodle, from within the course area as the admin, I make sure that I've got editing on. If you don't see any of these options available as the admin, so you'll see here that I can't see how I can add an activity, so I just click on my little cog up in the top right hand corner. I click on turn editing on. That allows me as the administrator to edit this course. I'm going to add an activity or resource. Lots of different options available inside of Moodle. In this particular case, I'm going to choose SCORM package. I'm going to click on add. It's now going to open up a way of capturing information about that activity. So I'll just call this SCORM 2020. And here I'm going to select the package or the package file. You'll see that it's looking for a zip file. I'm going to click on the big blue arrow. I'm going to click on upload file. I go back to the file that I'm looking for. I choose the zip file, and so I choose the zip. Call this anything I like. Good to have a naming convention inside your organization. I'm going to upload the file. The thing also I'm going to show you is the activity completion. Now this is probably the most important thing here. So with the activity completion, once again, depending on the LMS you're using, you're going to need to check this. But for this particular example, we want to show activity as complete when the conditions are met. The student must view this activity to complete it. The student must receive a grade to complete this activity. And the most important thing here, one of the most important things, we can put the minimum score here, so we can put in 80. But the most important thing here is it says require all SCOs or SCORMs to return the completion status. So if I click on this little question mark, some SCORM packages contain multiple components. When this is enabled, all SCORMs within the package must return the relevant lesson status for this activity to be flagged complete. One other thing in Moodle, under appearance, I'm just going to choose the option new window, take display activity name out, and I'm also going to change the width and the height to 100% just so I can demonstrate that scalable HTML option. And I'm also going to choose the option display course structure in player. That's disabled, and I'll show you the end result. So save and return to course. As the learning administrator, for users to have access to this course, they need to be enrolled. So what I did earlier is I added my student self as a user, and then inside the course you need to go back up to your cog, your settings cog up there, click on more, and then we go to where it says users, we go to enrolled users, and over on the right hand side we click on enrolled users. And then if your users are actually in the Moodle environment but not necessarily enrolled in this course, you can start to type in the name of the user, and then you can enroll those. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but if you just wanted to do some testing, that's how you enroll the user into the course. So look, we've done that. We have already enrolled the user. We've got our course here. We've got the new SCORM file. So if I do go back to the LMS as the user, so here I've switched back to the different browser that allows me to experience this as a student. I'm going to go back just to my home page. So I'll just click on the home page here. I'll click on LMS SCORM sample, and you'll see here that the new SCORM file has appeared, and I don't have a blue tick next to it to show that I've actually completed that. So I can click on that and I can launch this. No attempts. I can click on enter. That'll open up a brand new window here, and that's scalable HTML5 content option that I showed you, and I'll just switch back to here. So under publish, you'll see I tick this box that says scalable HTML content when I published, and what that allows me to do is to have a course whereby, and I'm just going to make this browser window smaller. So you see that as I make the browser window smaller, it actually makes the content smaller as well. So it scales depending on the size of the browser window, which is really good if you are potentially delivering this to smaller devices like iPads or smaller notebooks or even large screens. So you'll know that that content will scale to fit the screen. So I'm now going to go through and so you can see this is another quiz for testing. Tell us in your own words how wonderful today is. Hi, this is a great day. Don't forget we had this as a survey. Thanks for asking. I'm going to submit that, and then the next question will come up. Honey, where are my pants? Under the couch. Click on. You'll notice also that those results are actually shuffled as well. So you'll see if we have a look at this, you'll see that those results have actually been shuffled. So I just need to remember that correct answer, which is under the bed. And if I click on submit, correct, click anywhere to continue, and now it'll show me that I did actually get 100%, even though there's two questions, because the first question was a survey and it's not actually marked, but it does tell me that I got it correct. So I'm going to continue there. That'll do nothing really. I'm going to close out of that, and then we'll find that when we go back to the student version or the student view of the LMS, you'll see that I get a tick here because I marked that I got correct. I got 100%, which is great. And if I go back to the learning management system as the administrator, I can drill down into that course now. So I can click on that activity. I can view the reports as the administrator. You'll see here that I now have the completion as the student. And if I go into interaction report, you'll see here that it's showing me the response that I typed in. So it's capturing that information. It's also capturing my response in the multiple choice option. And if I view down or if I scroll down even further or drill down even further into this particular student, you can see here that there's the 2020 being carried across from this information here. So if I go back to quiz preferences, and then I'll just click on that. And if I go into configure, and you'll see here that title information has been sent across to Moodle there, and it shows me how long it took me to complete as the student, or how long the student took. And if I go into interactions, you'll see here that there was no correct entry because it was a survey and it was 0 points. And you'll see here that these IDs are the same IDs as specified in the inside of the authoring tool. So you see here the multiple choice 6808 down the bottom there, and there's 6808 as well. And yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. That's SCORM working, and really as the developer, as the administrator, as the person running the reports, as the learning and development consultant, you don't really need to know much about SCORM except to appreciate that there's lots happening in the background, and it's because of SCORM that we're able to capture all of this information as well. What you can also do, I'll just drill down a little bit further back into the just show you SCORM, the raw SCORM, and if we go into here and if we click on the 100, you'll see here this actually shows a very detailed display of data. So as I scroll down, some of you may have come across CMI. So CMI is the coding in the background, but you'll see here this is the latency, or the time it took to answer that question. So there's some really interesting information that you can capture here. I wouldn't worry about any of that. You'll see here that this quiz ID here is the quiz ID that is found here. So quiz preferences. Look, the only reason I think you would probably need to go into, so you see here quiz 209.301, 209.319, 209.319. So that information's passed on as well. The only reason you'd probably need to go into here is if you needed to do some troubleshooting to see if someone said that they were getting stuck on a particular question, etc., etc. So it's a little bit difficult to really get a lot out of that, but this is probably the better report to break down the students' interactions. And look, this is Moodle, but all learning management systems will be able to drill down, grab that information, and as I said, this is SCORM working from the authoring tool, switching SCORM on within the authoring tool, filling out various settings, making sure the settings are relevant at the activity level within the authoring tool. So once again, looking at the quiz settings in here, making sure you are reporting the answers, the points that you want to associate with each question. But yeah, that's SCORM working from the authoring tool all the way to the LMS to get the various reporting that you need. So I really hope that helped. I really hoped that did help you to see how SCORM fits in and is the glue between the authoring tool and the learning management system. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment below, and we can get to those comments.